And so I saw a bunch of people talking today on Twitter like, oh, this is like a new threat of thing we need to be on the lookout for, this like incel. Like, first of all, probably not. You know,
I actually think I would agree with that 100%, not from a terrorist point of view, but just like these are literally like men who like want to get and can't and are super obsessed with it. Like, you haven't encountered people like this in life?
Oh no, there are people like that. Sure, I was just like taking the stretch of like most of those guys are just sad and lonely. Like they're not gonna go hurt anybody. Like they're just gonna be sad and lonely. But clearly some of them get upset enough. But
my wife
just says many have in the past. Yeah, I don't doubt many have, but I mean many times more lonely guys just are
Taylor,
sad.
And I might be wrong, but I thought that these were the most harmless people on earth.
Really?
Oh God!
Not my take at all.
No, they're scary individuals.
You're winning me over.
No, these are like those self-professed, I don't know, allies.
They have a ton of resentment towards women. Like,
so yeah, exactly. Yes, they do. And my wife is a super sweet girl, just really nice girl, super sociable, like really conscientious girl. Tries very hard to make people feel welcome and at ease and whatnot. And we had an associate of ours, like someone we knew in life, who was an incel basically, and like her and she would like respond to his texts and stuff, and we were friends, and he would do like drop her like 60 text messages in the course of an hour. And like I had to step in with this guy and just be like, look, she was to the point where she was like hiding her phone so she wouldn't have to see this and like deal with those kind of messages, because for him, he wants to get laid. Any female attention is super positive in his mind. He doesn't understand boundaries about this, doesn't get what's acceptable and what isn't and what's normal and not, because he's just so focused on this type of behavior. And that was very interesting to me in the sense of like very eye-opening to be like, he means well, he's a reasonably nice guy, but he is so desperate in this scenario. And for him, it came out in anger. Like he would have like angry episodes and bursts about this, about like, you know, how women treated him, his inability to, he was obsessed with getting laid. His inability to do that was such a huge problem for him, such a big thing in his life, and it was everything for him.
They're often angry at women because of their choice of what they view as inferior men. You know, like, she chooses this kind of guy who's just going to use her. When if she was with me, she would be my princess, my queen. I would do this, and that for her. Mm. These guys need to get themselves a prostitute. That is the quick and easy answer to
I actually 100% agree with that. Like, he's just gotten fucking late a couple times. He could have, I mean...
Kyle needs to run for office.
He's got my vote.
The guy solves problems.
I think I could do that as a pimp. You
say tomato, I say tomato.
I think Kyle's totally right. That like, if like, who's to say that if that guy like was able to get a prostitute or something, that he wouldn't have been such an insane maniac and like been still harboring all that resentment, you know? Because I feel like most of these guys, and another bad thing about it is there are like online communities of these people who like, you know how communities go, like especially if they're like based on something negative or self-defeating, like they spiral, where it's like I'm so worthless I can't compete because I'm so worthless I can't compete because and everybody just, it's like crabs in a bucket, everybody's dragging themselves down. And so they take like normal interactions with women or what the really damaging part I think about these communities is like everybody's like sad about it, and like maybe a guy who's like 19 or something who's still too young to even like be in a boat like that. He just hasn't gotten laid yet. He's like, oh, all my friends are getting laid and I'm not. He goes to this online community, and then instead of being on the path to fix himself and improve, he like gets sucked into that bucket, you know, and then he's that guy who's just, now I hate women too. Yeah, it's not that I just maybe I've had bad luck or I'm not, you know, doing whatever I need to do to improve myself or I'm aiming solely way out of my league. It's that there's a cabal of women who are using sex like tokens, and Chad gets all the tokens. I don't get any tokens. And it's like, and you just get dragged down and down and down, and over the time, like that probably, like that cannot be a healthy place for young men.
I love that whole Chad thing.
Hanging out. Oh yeah, like that's like one of my favorite memes, like the virgin whatever versus the Chad.
Yeah, I love that.
That's a good one.
We've had a lot of conversations about sex over the course of the years that I've been on the show with you guys, and I think all of us agree it's a huge motivator for people. It's a huge force of like interest and time and commitment and everything else for people, right? It's just, it blows my mind that people wouldn't be thinking, like, let me rephrase that. the people who are obsessed with this and aren't getting it, it's a huge there's a huge vacuum in their life that is sucking in energy for them to commit to this, and then this gets displayed in these really bizarre and kind of off-putting and sometimes aggressive or dangerous situations from that. Like, that doesn't surprise me at all. So
you're right. Like, and some 19-year-old guy shows up, or 20-year-old guy, whatever, and instead of getting, oh, have you tried working out? Have you tried maybe, go for a less attractive girl? You seem to really only be going for the 10 out of 10s.
Do you have $200?
Instead of that, he gets like, a message from someone who's like, I'm 41, and let me tell you, buddy, it doesn't get any better ever. It's always terrible, and women are the worst, and they're just, whores who only go for Chad. And it's like, that can't be, it's not healthy.
A prostitute costs less than a PlayStation.
Yeah, but some of it is not just the sex.
Not everywhere.
Sometimes it's the relationship. Like that's there too. Like this guy was like that. So
that's called the girlfriend experience, and that will cost you extra.
Extra? I thought it was just a choice. Porn star girlfriend, 6 in one, half dozen in the other.
No, it's absolutely extra.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Got a whole wife.
It seems kind of maybe silly to be treating this as like a new group of potential.
I absolutely see these as I see these people as people who have issues, and these issues come out fairly aggressively.
They're scary people. I feel like they'd be extra scary to a lady. Maybe not to us, because like, what are they going to do to us? Like maybe if they saw us as Chads and they went on a shooting rampage, that would be a little scary. But like, it's not like they're gonna. Which I feel like would be the fear.
Yeah, like my wife came back one time and she got dropped off by a mutual acquaintance from a bar. It wasn't far from where we lived, and she told me that the guy had said to her in the car, aren't you worried? Nothing could stop me right now.
Jesus Christ!
And I'm like, holy, are you kidding me? Like something like that. You're like,
who says that?
People, men. and I don't put it like it's not like a gender. Well, it's a little gendered in that fact, but it's like, again, I've never had an experience like that. I've never felt physically, sexually threatened in that way.
No.
Right? And no one has ever said anything like that to me. So it's just mind-boggling to me to hear that.
Jesus Christ! What
was her crime? She's a nice girl who tries to make people feel like comfortable in a social circumstance.
Jesus Christ, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, certainly she never goes near that guy again. So,
right.
But at the same time, like, there was that moment. He's right in some sense, right? He's bigger than her, could have overpowered her. That's a fear that she gets to live with forever.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
That's scary.
Anyways, don't mean to buzzkill that, but
now who's the Debbie Downer? Anyone know any children with polio we can talk about? No.
No.
I just typed in on Google incel comments to like try and find some. Most of them are coming up as like anti-incel, like people making fun of it. I haven't read this all the way through, but the name of the post was "Fuel for Asian Cells." Apparently, the most populous continent on the planet, Asian cells, a lot of them, I guess, in the U.S. This guy said, it was on, I think, an Elliot Rodger post. He was the guy who drove around and shot people in California, I believe, because he was also angry at women like a few years ago. This guy said, "I am used to this. They hate their genes," talking about Asians, "and they will produce Elliot Rodgers. Asian females are the most despicable of all females. No other female throws their men under the bus like Asian females. If I ever get to the point of getting a child and it is a female, it is going straight into the garbage. Not providing Asian females for the white man, or I will condition her to hate the white man."
Nice. I love that.
Now that's someone you want reproducing. Yeah.
Finally, someone telling the truth about how it really is, That's refreshing right there.
Oh, I want to see this. I'm going to watch the summary version of this episode. Even though I was on it, I'm still watching it because I want to see the actual what it presents as the reality versus the reality of having been here.
I'm sure that they'll be kind and fair. Yeah, I think we can all see where he's coming from, though, right? It seems like Asian females oftentimes are not interested in Asian men, and I feel like Asian man is the bottom tier of like the dating pool, right? Like I think I guarantee it.
I mean, as far as difficulty.
Yes, absolutely. If you're on Tinder, and there's like easy, normal, hard, very hard, and impossible mode. Asian is very hard, at least. It might be impossible mode. Asian men.
For what? For Asian men getting laid?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying that Asian men can't pick up girls.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not been my experience with hanging out with Asian men.
May I read another one of these incel comments I came across? This community's gone on Reddit, and so these are just like archives on Google Images. The post name was, "This amazing surgery in the near future could cure all incels." It says, "Just take a dog's brain and put it into a humanoid female's body. There, fixed. No more incels ever. I'm not talking about killing anyone. We wouldn't need to do that. Just clone their bodies at a young age and substitute the inferior female humanoid brain for a loving dog one. Or females who died of brain-related injuries. Maybe we could revive them with superior brains. Female humanoid bodies are very desirable, but it is their brains that ruin everything. They're stupid brains that only lust for chads. That are total hypocrites."
Does it really say that?
Yeah,
What is this Chad meme? I don't know this
make
Chad
them
meme.
heartless without remorse. It's not like their brains end up contributing anything to society in a significant amount, because dumbs cause endless suffering and can never be satisfied. Can you feel the vitriol and the venom for like?
Oh, it's palpable.
It's palpable.
And I just wanted to be clear about what I was saying before. I meant Asian men have a hard time. Asian women are highly desired by anyone and everyone. It's the Asian man who gets stuck with the bill in the dating scene. It's the Asian man who has a hard time.
I don't know.
Like the way that they like see sex and everything is so removed from reality.
I read it in
I'm
Taylor's
looking
diary.
through trying to find more of these about Chad, because it is so funny that they're using this
I
meme.
don't know this fucking meme. What is
So,
this
okay,
meme?
Chiz, can you link Filthy some Chad memes?
Even before the meme, Chad was just the captain of the high school football team. You know, Chad is the guy that all the girls want, the alpha, the good-looking, everything goes his way type guy.
I see.
Yeah, he's an alpha male. The Chad is kind of an alpha male, like, and he's the guy that these incels feel is disproportionately getting all of the pussy.
These comments, they seem to hate Chad on the same level they hate women.
They do. Certainly.
Here's one of a guy taking apparent glee in abuse. He says, 2X is quickly becoming one of my favorite subreddits. I love all the stories of how girls go out and find a Chad to bring home to fuck. But once they are alone, surprise, surprise, Chad sexually abuses or rapes them. They all mention he was so sweet and charming and handsome. How could someone like him do this? Or the stories of how their Chad boyfriend smashed in their faces and they try to rationalize it because he's so handsome and sweet and he would never do it again. I honestly applaud all abusive Chads. Fuck those women. That tell us they can sense our misogyny, then go home with a wife beater just because he is handsome. For any incels having a bad day, go to 2X and their stories of abuse will cheer you up.
I forgot. Are we going darker or brighter after the last couple of topics? It's just a straight decline. Okay.
I think this is like an interesting insular kind of community, and
so let's
clear
put
the
this,
way they talk. Yeah.
I want this on like a continuum. So we had Total Biscuits cancer. That's pretty nasty. Where is this relative to that, and where are we going?
Well, remember,
where
we had a roller coaster. We had Total Biscuit, sad, Superboy, happy,
sure,
and then a little bit of pitter pattering, and now we're down to Chad and Stacy and Virgin memes, and
so that's just like emotional. But I wanted to kind of see like the comparison.
Yeah,
I feel like we bottomed out with the Total Biscuit cancer. That made me feel real bad.
Yeah, this isn't as sad as Total Biscuit, because
so
Total
this
Biscuit
could maybe be brought up by like shitting on this community a little bit.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, and we could always do that. You know, I'm just trying to find more interesting comments from them, but yeah, very, very damaging community for a vulnerable, sexually frustrated young man to stumble across.
Guys, if you're really, I guarantee there's someone listening to this right now who is an incel, right? Look, fly to Vegas. First of all, it's a lovely city in the desert, right? Lots of things to do there. If you don't like gambling, you don't have to do that. If you don't like the shows, you don't have to do that. But there's legalized prostitution outside the city limits. and for a couple $100 you can get this all taken care of. And like just once you have sex once, maybe you'll find that like all the pressure is relieved, both literally and figuratively, and so in future dealings with ladies, you'll be more confident going forward. You know, that once you know what the deal is, and it's not some huge precipice that you're on the edge of all of the time, and you're not sticking your foot in your mouth like an anti-Chad.
Let's also be clear that
an
like
incel.
The life of like, okay, sex is a weird thing because like when you're having it regularly, you're kind of like, how could I ever do without it? And then when you're without sex for a while, you're kind of like, your body, you don't really think of it quite as much. You might be like, yes, I want that again, and certainly that's a goal and aim. But like in that moment, you're not like, oh my God, this moment is like I'm reliving every sexual experience I've ever had and how good it was, and now this moment is so terrible because of it. It's not like that. It's like I feel like this emphasis on how important that is fairly kind of overrated. Like sex is great, don't get me wrong. I'm a big proponent of sex, but yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it feels like to me it's a lack of experience, not it's dictating that this is so important. This means I've failed in life in every way. Give it some fucking time, man. You'll be all right. There's other things going on in the world.
Some of these guys are 30. Some of these guys are 30. All right?
Some of them are, but they're doing the same thing that like they're like the polar opposite of the white knight, you know? Like they both groups are.
Although I feel like white knights are fucking doing. I feel like white knights in this group are not mutually exclusive. I think those are a lot of overlap there.
They both might be nice guys. I feel like the incels aren't like nice guys unless they're presenting themselves differently. But it's like the white knight kind of people, the nice guys, like they're putting pussy on a pedestal too. But these incel people, they're also putting it up there. They're just taking a different thing where they're not doing like the, oh, you're so smart and funny and you know, let me take you to dinner or whatever. They're not taking the approach of if I'm nice enough, I'll get enough sex coins to get laid. But
I saw this
they're taking the approach of it's like, oh, that pussy on the pedestal, that's unattainable. I may as well consign myself to a life of vitriol and anger and just, you know, fuck 50% of the population. What do they know? Like, I feel like most of these guys are just one genuine relationship, even not a sexual one, with a woman from realizing it's ridiculous when they kind of like realize like, oh, this big boogeyman of Chad crazed whores out there, like that's not, you know, sure you'll see like some stuff like that.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Let's not completely feed into the cabal. It's a little accurate, right? Like women do use sex as a form of currency that they dole out to those that they deem to be worthy.
I think that's too calculated for that. People are attracted to people. I'm attracted to people.
It's not necessarily calculated. It's a bit of like chemical, biological stuff going on, but the end result is the same.
I mean, like, women do use sex to get things. That's known. But I think that they're taking that tidbit of knowledge and saying, oh, that's all they do. They're all just basically whores. They're all just sluts, and they'll only sleep with Chad. Like they're taking like a nugget of truth that like, yeah, women use sex to get things. That's a known thing. And then they're pulling from that everything they want to see in it. And the worst thing to pull from it, the better, because then that kind of reassures them that, oh, I don't even have to participate in this fucked up world. I'll just be a man going my own way, or whatever that other movement is.
Yeah, there's so many Reddit's an interesting place. You can find all of these. Everybody finds themselves a little box to hop in. It seems it's really fascinating.
That's the funny. I don't know anything about that.
It's community. Like men going their own way or something.
Yeah, that's the name of it. But I don't know 100% like their ID. I've never
I want to say that their deal is they're like.
Actually, I'm gonna look it up.
They're like fuck pussy, but not literally. They're like they're just like we're gonna just go do our own thing. We're gonna try to succeed in the world without women being the driving thing that moves us on. And I think maybe they don't have sex.
All right, I'm going to one of their top. Okay, this seems kind of in line with the incel thing so far.
I remember a situation. Yeah, thanks. I remember a situation in college we had foreign exchange students in college. And there was a group of French foreign exchange students came over. And I had a French class, and it was fucking hard as shit. There was a lot of stupid memorization. So I had I went and found a French tutor for this. One of those foreign exchange students was tutoring me. He was a dude, and kind of cool guy, and like helped me with this shit. And I kind of got through that class at the grade I wanted because I had this access to this French tutor. But because of that, was kind of exposed to his friends, and we hung out a couple times and did some poker games and stuff like this. And I hung out with some of the girls that were, because they were all over together from that. And those girls were, it was like these people, the group we're talking about, like this, I think you're calling it Incels. I could see that so clearly with those girls, because there was a group of guys who were around those girls who were like helping them facilitate their experience in America. And these guys were totally out of their fucking league with these girls. Relatively attractive girls, clearly fairly extroverted, out and engaging in like a whole different culture and wanted to see parts of America while they're over here and excited about it, and fun people. And there'd be like these guys, and some of them were total fucking losers, like who were trying to use that to get laid, and like had done things like, bought her jewelry while she was over here, and we're gonna go with some of these girls on trips to various parts of the U.S. to show them around. And I felt like that was such a clear, like, if you look at the different ways guys try to get laid, and guys try to get laid in a million different ways, this was one of the ones I thought was a very like clear application of this. It's basically like, okay, here's a girl who's not in any way interested in me whatsoever, and I don't really have any in with, but I'm going to use her lack of perfect English and lack of understanding about this country, and I'm going to do it from the kind of white knight kind of perspective of, I'm going to take care of her and help her with this shit, and use that as kind of like try to rack up sexual favor with that. I thought that was just like, it was so clearly obvious to anyone who paid any fucking attention in this moment that it just reminds me again of like the differences in that. Like, as a guy, I don't have that experience.
Yeah.
And it just blows my mind to some degree to see kind of the difference of what that is. Yeah, maybe there is some element of sexual exchange in there at some point, but it's like that is driven both ways, and the outcomes of that are pretty fucked up on both ways in that. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, though there definitely is an aspect of sexual exchange, but like I was saying, like that these guys are taking, an anthill and turning it into a mountain. You know? So I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking this community would be like the less crass version of the incels. And now I'm going through it, and the top one of all time is, I just linked it in there for you guys. What shocked you most about women? I will start. How merciless they are. They are so shallow and weak, but that little of mind they have, they use it to be as merciless as possible. What does that mean?
It means he didn't get laid.
It means he didn't
get.
She said no.
That's right.
That's an expert opinion, Filthy. It means he didn't get it. Oh man.
Yeah. And Chiz made a good point here in the side chat. He's like, stop. What did you say? It's funny you tell that story. They're trying to pay for pussy indirectly. Stop beating around the bush.
But it's worse than that. They're not even trying to pay for pussy. They're trying to. It's this like it's the idea of reciprocation here. They're trying to give something deliberately with strings attached to it, so that someone who doesn't know better accepts and then is obligated to them. That's the tilt they're taking on that.
Yeah, like I did you a favor. Now you owe me.
That's right.
Wait, what do I owe you?
Well,
no.
I bought you these expensive earrings that you said looked nice when we were in this random store on this trip that we took together, that I'm only here on because I'm fucking obnoxiously stalking you. Now you owe me sex.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys, they must be just going for like, 8 out of 10s plus, because ugly people have sex all the time. All the time. Two ugly people can go have sex, and so part of this has to be they're just aiming too high or something, or they're so in their own head about whatever perceived insecurity.
Why can't they just be shitty? Like, at some level, some of these people sound just shitty.
Oh, I'm sure lots of them are, but there's also got to be some that are sucked in. Especially, I'm more talking about the young ones. The one you guys are talking about, where it's like, I'm 39 and women are all whores. Like, of course, that guy's a piece of shit. But did you find a good one, Kyle?
Oh no, I'm just laughing at your joke. It's funny. Yeah, no, I agree. There's definitely some young guys who may get caught up and confused by these
for sure
30s and 40-year-old incels and be like, oh, so that's just the way it is. It's like, no, like all right, fix yourself.
Let's do a brief public service thing then. What's minus like the direct transaction of money for sex, right? So what's like what that is your best way to get laid? Money for sex, go do that. That's easily accepted, right? That's easily taken care of. What is your best relationship advice? If you're looking to date, if you're looking to organically meet up with a girl and hit it off and do some sort of dating that may or may not result in sex, what's your best advice?
Tinder.
What would you throw out? Tinder.
You get on a dating website. You throw as much spaghetti against the dating scene wall as you possibly can, and something will stick. If you are a 4 out of 10 dude, look, fix yourself up as much as you can, right? Like work out, like get some acne cream, like get a haircut. Find someone to help you buy some decent clothes, get a nice button up, some nice shoes. Take some nice pictures of yourself where you don't look like a rapist. And not every guy is able to do that. I see so many fucking scary ass pictures of dudes on the internet, like where they're like trying to look like appealing
or something.
Yeah, and they come off as like scary as fuck. Don't pose with your goddamn stuffed animals or your weird ass hobbies. Like none of that shit.
Guns don't really do dating either.
Not for most chicks. Not for most chicks. I look, if I'm sending a picture to a girl, I've never sent a picture of a girl with me like, hi. No.
You're not 007. You're not
fucking 007. Like maybe if you get to know someone and you share some similar interest in like anything. It could be My Little Pony even. Like if maybe you're a brony and you find a chick who's into that weird ass shit too. like then you could send her a picture of your stuffed doll.
That's like date 3 though.
But
right, first is
Look. I saw you talking about this on your on one of your streams. You're like, at what stage of a relationship do you share with the other side, with the partner, something that's really heavy about yourself? Like, and you mentioned being HIV positive, or having certain it was you mentioned a power like a dominance exchange sort of relationship thing that you were into, and you were like, maybe date. Not immediately, you don't smack them across the face with AIDS, like right to begin with.
A lot of this is me parroting Dan Savage, who I really like.
Yes.
And I think Dan Savage does an amazing job. He's a relationship columnist, and he does a podcast weekly as well. And he does a really good job of putting this out there. And some of the things he basically says is, because there's people out there HIV positive or dating or have herpes and are dating who are very big into BDSM
and want to do that. Boat, okay? Let's put the HIV people in that boat over there with their HIV, with their deadly uncurable disease, and let's put the people with a little bump on their lip over here in their own little cruise liner. All right, we're
really, that's where you go with that? It's not HIV isn't a death sentence anymore, and herpes for me, as someone who doesn't carry herpes, is still a transmittable sexual disease that I want no part of. So on some level, I am of the mindset that I want neither of those things.
I'd rather have herpes.
I always wondered if I could possibly have dormant herpes or something. And Jackie got tested for it in a physical,
maybe late stage syphilis.
Don't have it. Yeah, no herpes in this relationship.
Here's a massive difference, though, right? Like you could. For the most part, I know Taylor has looked this up and argued it with me, but by and large, the only time that herpes is transmittable is during an outbreak. Like otherwise, it's absurdly rare to transfer it. AIDS, I don't think, is the same situation necessarily.
It's pretty hard to contract AIDS, harder than people think.
But again, because you kind of nipped that at the butt a little bit. For what Dan Savage basically talks about is neither of those are deal breakers. But what those are things you don't necessarily want to introduce on the day of the first date of the relationship. Probably something that needs to come up at a relatively reasonable amount of time into that relationship. And those aren't deal breakers. So first give a person a chance to know who you are. And then kind of when you do talk about this, be educated on what that means and what you need to do about it.
It has to be before any sexual encounter.
I'm almost with Kyle on this, though, because HIV is a deal breaker to me.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
But herpes isn't at all. Herpes definitely isn't. For me, I would be like, oh, so you're telling me that like twice a year we can't have sex for 10 days? Well, I mean, personally, I'm in the boat of gentlemen who doesn't like to have sex when a girl's on her period. So there's already 4 or 5 days a month that we avoid sex. So adding 10 more or 20 more to the year is not a deal breaker. However, AIDS.
It's funny that you have no empathy for that, Kyle.
Empathy for what?
For HIV, as someone who is apparently this is new to me as of right now, but I got from context that you have herpes. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
on my lip. On my
There you
lip.
go. Uh-huh.
Not on my genitals. I just get a cold sore.
Hey. I'm not judging one way or the other. It's just interesting that you argue that this sexually transmittable disease that has negative repercussions for those of people who catch it from you, this one doesn't count, but the other one does. Certainly, the other one has a more severe outcome.
I also differentiate between drinking cyanide and drinking Pepsi. Both are bad for you. Both are imbibed as liquids. However, one will kill you instantly, and the other takes most of a lifetime.
But I think, again, I'm paraphrasing Dan Savage here, so this is not my argument, but I think his point was along the lines of the HIV is no longer a death sentence. So that it's no longer cyanide versus Pepsi. It's now like Pepsi versus Everclear. And then there still are things that are cyanide, but this is now something that fucks you up, and not in a good way necessarily, but it's less so than it was before.
Well, maybe the first question should be, what kind of health insurance do you have? Because
what fucking company is sponsoring you tonight? There's no way. Everything comes back to that tonight.
It all comes back to health insurance coverage, because if you have AIDS and you don't have insurance, things are going to get a little expensive, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I don't either, and I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't have that Michael that fucking spacing out.
Michael Scott?
Michael, no, not Michael.
Fuck him.
Michael.
Suck a dick. I don't care.
Magic Johnson money. Oh, that Michael Johnson money. Magic Johnson money. Michael Johnson. Who's Michael Johnson? Magic Johnson. Yeah, it's just not going to work out. Not going to work out. Yeah. AIDS is definitely a no-no. I feel like that is going to send 90% of people running for the hills. I know I certainly would be like, I would just
be scary as fuck for me.
I wouldn't just instantly block you, but I would be like, I'm sorry, that's a no-go for me. Like under no circumstances.
God, it's just funny because where you caught me when you're reciting Me Back to Me from a VOD of multiple years ago when I'm playing a game unrelated to this and talking to my chat about it. So we're talking about like a level of removal from the topic on that. But if I recall correctly, the podcast I was listening to Dan Savage about that, he was talking about some of the drugs that block transmission of that. And I don't remember the name. There's some one that is pretty commonly used in that community that has a very, 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 very strong record of prevention of transmission of that disease.
It's PrEP.
I don't remember what it's called. It may very well be. But my point is that what you're suggesting in terms of the scariness of it is less scary for those in the know than it was ever before. And what that is for you and your personal risk assessment doesn't really matter one way or the other. I mean, you might be a total no for you, and you might get that. But I think the advice he was giving is wait till a couple of dates in, not wait to post-sex. Wait, certainly do as pre-sex, but don't let that be the thing you open with. Because if you open, the first thing you will say to someone is, I'm HIV positive, and that's the first thing they know about you past your picture, that's over.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're like,
so.
I met this girl's fucking amazing, super hot, super great, love her personality. She has risks associated with her sexually. And I now can define those risks, put a mental number to that of what I need to do to have that be less risky or not.
It's easier to say that you date a 6 than it is a 3. Even if they mean the same thing.
What? Is it?
It is
if
for
they
me.
mean the same thing.
I'm rationalizing dating an HIV positive woman right now. Let me do it however I must. The person would literally have to be like an attractive celebrity, I feel like, for it to be worth it.
That's your subjective, and that's your subjective go-to.
Yes.
That's think about the 1 to 10 scale that needs to make sense. It has to be almost a logarithmic scale, right? If you say a 5 is an average woman, and an 8 is top 20%, then I don't know. There just seems like a 9. Shucks, 1 in every 10 people you meet is a 9. So you have to make it so that
that's really
a 9,
high.
right? So you have to make it like the 9.5 is the kind of person you don't see every day.
Sure. I see it more like a bell curve anyway, where it's like there's a ton of 5s,
and
there's
with
not very many 10s.
asymptoting tails.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
or some people go even tougher. Some people go different. I mean, like 5 is not average, right? Some people do like I don't know, a 3 to 7 scale or something, and they just throw out 6 and 7s for regular people.
1 to 10.
No,
Like when we say like it's a 1 to 10 scale, I feel like that is often just like it's almost an attractive or not. There might be like 3 grades: not attractive, attractive, really attractive. I don't know if I get any further than that. Like
I don't know. Like there are though, because there's so many levels of attract. Like she could be beautiful, and she could have like a very nice body, or she could be a perfect specimen. Like she could
have a fucking amazing personality and be a super incredible fucking girl to hang out with. But now,
now?
Being like, what are you gonna? Yeah. And now we're running into problems with this 1 to 10 scale.
where's her personality? Is
on this. That doesn't.
is that what she sits on?
Yeah, that's the flat bit beneath the boobs.
Fair enough. If that's tight, then the whole body is good.
The personality doesn't come into play with the. This is a looks and appearance 1 to 10 scale, and it is definitely a bell curve.
But HIV positive isn't on your looks and appearance scale because you don't have that. So now you're talking about a more complicated scale. You're now factoring in other things, or you aren't. In which case, for you, by that logic, someone who is HIV positive or not doesn't make any difference to their 1 to 10 scale.
They literally lose 7 points. They
then
lose
it's
7
not
points.
an attractiveness scale.
Because
it's
a 10.
Or rather,
Yeah,
it's now not a physical
it absolutely is. It's
Sure,
how much
sure,
I'm
but
attracted to.
subjective. Sure.
If a 10
But that's
makes her a
subjective.
3, then it's a
Scale.
showstopper because you're not dating any 3s. Unless they're wealthy enough.
Exactly. Yes. And I would date a 3 if she were a billionaire. So this all makes sense now. Absolutely. Yeah. Like imagine like
Taylor's true is making. You're right, Kyle. This all makes sense now.
like
Kyle's really clarifying a lot of things.
I thought that was a
Taylor.
Like I would date a billionaire if she was I would date a 3 if she was a billionaire. I thought Taylor was like, true, he would. That's what I thought that true was.
no.
I mean like
I would. I did a 1 if she was a billionaire.
Taylor, would you you date Kathy Bates, right?
If she was a billionaire?
No, she's a millionaire. She plays
Not good enough. That's a 2.
No,
Yeah,
that's
but
you gotta
think
you
about
gotta
it. Think
be
about
a
it. Hang on.
bill-
She's
Okay.
gonna be able to help you with your acting career. I bet Kathy Bates is hooked up with everybody, right?
I
What
would
does a billionaire
contest
get you that a
this.
multimillionaire doesn't?
Yeah,
don't
I
wanna
want to say
act.
100 million is enough. Beyond that, and it's just like charity money and stuff.
There are yachts that cost that much, though. Maybe
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy any yachts though.
That's not even on my
that's
list of desires.
when I'm
That's
hanging out with the
Taylor.
Sultan and he's got
And he's
I don't
making
have
you
a
feel
big yacht.
small. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Right.
don't want the Sultan like
When your
stuck-
Lambo's gold plated and you both know damn well his is solid gold, you feel like an idiot.
Such a
He's
fool.
got 3 of them. Yeah, you gotta, there's levels to this shit. There always are. Like I get it. 100 million will get just about anything you want. But I feel like that's the opinion of either Bill Gates, who's some sort of horseshit philanthropist who's given all
It
his
is
money
his
away to
opinion.
AIDS victims,
Yeah.
or it's the opinion of a common man, like all of us here, who really have never had 100 million or
And
$100
never will.
billion dollars, and most likely never will.
I will never have $100 million.
Yeah, you can win the lottery. You never know.
Nope.
Not
You
without
don't-
playing.
That's right.
No, you can't win if you don't play. That's their lot.
That's
That's the lotto motto.
Yeah. We go on with that. So go on. That's the opinion of the common man.
But I think once you do have $100 million, you're like, ah, shit, that yacht I want is $87 million. Like there's no way I can blow 87% of my entire worth on one boat. Is there? Like there's always things that cost more. Like when
And you were willing to trade relationship satisfaction and sexual satisfaction for that particularly nice yacht, is what you're telling me.
I mean, how long is she gonna live? It's Kathy Bates.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how old she is.
my wife does interviews as part of her studies.
68?
And she does. There was one interview she did where that was one of the things that one of the people had to say about it was, thankfully, men live less long than women, and he's older than me. Now, I don't want to be in a relationship where that is a tenet of my relationship. That I go into a fucking relationship where I'm like, God, I hope she dies soon. Like, fuck. What is your trade-off? What was your?
It's funny because you think about endless money and how valuable that is, but when Filthy turned it into an item, hey, would you give up that relationship bonding that a man and a wife has, and sexual chemistry and the whole 9 yards. You give up what you have for a really cool boat. It's like, actually, I don't really place that high a value on boats. I don't think I'd like.
Well, you could cheat on her. That's part of this.
Sure.
It's to be expected.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
What if there's a prenup?
Well,
I know a relationship between a
what
man
Kathy don't know won't hurt her.
I know a relationship between a man and a wife where they have a very, very formal relationship where it's not a very, God, I don't know the word, companionate relationship. They are a sexual relationship. They're a husband and wife, but their lives are very, very separate, and their dating is almost formal when they're in person. More power to them if that's what they want for it, but that doesn't fit my goals for a relationship. I want a more intimate, more involved relationship with the girl I'm intimate with. So you could you could have any variety of that. You could have there's some stuff in the Skype chat right now. Yeah, you could marry someone much older than you. They're sooner likely to die. And then you're like, all right, I'll fuck this guy or fuck that girl for X number of years. Hopefully they're dead. Hopefully they don't exceed their expected lifetimes. I got my yacht. That was worth it. But that's not the trade-off that I want to make.
Or an island. You can have your own island.
Islands are nice. Better than boats.
There would be island girls.
Yeah, go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
We need to get some slave girls on that island. Some natives.
All right, that's a couple bucks more.
Okay, do you guys like ASMR? I'm just going to say I genuinely never saw the appeal to it. And even the really gentle ASMR videos, they tend to make me very angry. It's just the noise won't stop. I find it very grating.
One thing,
it's like someone chewing with their mouth.
I listen to ASMR porn while driving by myself. And, it keeps you up.
What?
Yeah, there is ASMR porn. You can search for that on Pornhub.
Okay,
There's nothing to watch.
I believe you. So what is?
Did you do 10 and 2 or one hand on the wheel?
Yeah,
This one right in the middle.
It
like,
was 10 and 2,
yeah.
except it was
Just riding right here.
except only one hand on the wheel.
Kind of 10, 2, and 6, if you can picture that.
Wait, did you just pick the first one that came up?
Yes. Well, I'm driving. I can't spend a lot of time, and but basically, it's a woman telling you how much she would like to be having sex with you, and if you're like sleepy and nothing keeps you up, it does.
Jesus,
so to speak.
That's really sad.
This is a pro tip. This is a pro tip. You remember 10 years ago when Wings told us Bing was where it's at? Look, if you're sleeping while you're driving, this is where it's at.
Does your wife know that you do this?
Not yet.
I mean, does she watch the show?
Not until Saturday in this episode.
She doesn't. She's not on the internet, thank God.
But Taylor, you were talking about that being sad. When I first got my VR headsets, I was testing stuff out on YouTube, which, by the way, oh my God, is it stuck? That's lovely. These little guys, 4K VR, they're literally sunglasses. They've been super fun. But I'm just like testing out videos on YouTube, and I found a VR section where you're supposed to put on glasses, and it's not quite pornographic, but you just have like a loving wife or a girlfriend. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen because the whole section is you come home and there's a lady like, "Hi, honey, how was your day? I really missed you. I cooked you dinner." And you like reach out, like give you a pat and just generally be supportive for like 15 minutes. And there's just like a whole section of that.
Dude,
tons of views. So there's tons of guys just there in their VR headsets being told how great it is that they're back.
Dude, that is so fucking sad. Like these poor guys are just like they want some kind of affirmation or attention, like, and they're going to VR to get like this. The end point of this is not nice. Like the end point of a huge number of men who are not able to socialize to the extent that they can get laid, them resorting and kind of distancing from reality and joining the VR movement as this gets more advanced. Pretty scary.
Taylor, this is a moment in history where you can rally the people with your conservative dog whistles to go back to conservative ways.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Put the women back in.
Back to 2019 when the Blues won the cup. But no further than just 2019.
2019.
That's where I want to. It's actually specifically June of 2019. Just
wasn't I in prison?
Well, but the Blues were winning the cup, man.
Or, no,
you win some, you lose
Oh,
some.
we all have sacrifices to make.
It's for
I
the
hated
benefit of
June
the
of
world.
2019. It was scary.
Dude, but think about it. Like if like VR gets wildly realistic, which it will, because technology seems like a continuous march, albeit slowly or quickly through different things. Like, and there are a bunch of guys who grow up entirely online because that's how all socialization happens, and they feel uncomfortable in real life conversing with women, having conversations, coming on to them, making a move, whatever it is. And if they decide instead, you know what, path of least resistance, I can get a more accurate, skinny, big-titted VR bitch to suck my dick while I put this machine on there, or fuck, like that is absolutely coming, you would imagine, right?
It is. So teen
And that
sex is
can't
at
be
an
good.
all-time low right now because of stuff like that, and also
Not if
societal
Kyle has
pressure.
anything to say about it.
God damn right. If you don't
Oh,
think I
God.
was about, if you don't think you stole the words from my fucking mouth, then you're just out of your goddamn gourd.
That's why we're such good friends.
Yeah, that's it.
What about the incel army out there? What about when they finally get fed up of not being able to have sex and they want real girlfriends instead of digital ones? What happens?
I don't know. Like, I imagine. Well, that might, for some of them, it would be a good thing. Like, force them to go out and like get a haircut and go to a bar or go to a club or something. People think that like bars
Shower.
and parties are the only place to meet women, which is like a Hollywood thing. That's not true at all. Like, you can join a club, you can go to the park. There's get a cute dog and walk it around the park.
Or
You're
find a cute
welcome.
dog.
You're welcome. Find a cute dog that belongs to a hot woman. Kidnap them both. You're made in the shade.
Well, wait, you don't have to kidnap her, just the dog.
No,
Yeah.
she's the key part.
No, if you find a chick that was like going to the same park every day, you know, a routine and stuff, if you can nap that dog, then show up like 3 days later when she's really distraught, you know, with the dog.
I didn't think. Oh, you were saying steal the dog to demonstrate your value.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's
This is
perfect.
the-
Then.
I call this the hero play. Okay, you're coming in, you're or AKA finders keepers. You find the dog, you keep her. Yeah.
Yeah. And she needs to pay you back to get the dog, or you'll wink, wink.
Usually
get
don't
to
have
the
to.
pound.
Yeah, usually
and
don't have to take
kill
it to that place, but one way or the other, we're going to pound town. Like
You and the dog. No, you and the woman.
well, someone is. It's up to her.
Listen, lady. 2 of the 3 of us are fucking today, and it's
Well,
up
it
to
might
you.
just be her and the dog, and you have to sit in your sad corner of cuckery and watch. You never
What?
know.
This is taking such a weird fucking
And you're
turn. This
like,
was
man,
funny
that-
when we started, and it was just.
I was still laughing. Like, you're just getting cucked by her dog. Damn, that cocker spaniel's hung.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, he kidnaps the dog and brings her back, and she's like, "Oh my god, you brought him back." She just goes to making out with the dog right there, just right in front of you,
what
like
do we
deep
think-
throating the dog.
Probably
Small
Deep
shift.
throating the dog.
Small shifting gears, but what do you think about people who kiss their dogs a little too much? Like I think there's a
How
line,
much is
right?
too much?
How
All
much?
right,
How
I'm with-
much?
Pretty
All right.
big dog kisser.
I'm a dog kisser too. So here's
Same here.
first of all,
What if my mouth is closed but I'm hard?
Problematic.
I mean, my mouth is closed, but I'm not going to disclose
you-
where I kiss
are
my
you
dog.
are you like Winnie the Poohing it during the dog?
What if
the
my
face-
mouth is open and he's hard? Because both my
Well, then you know what
Where's
comes
your mouth at this point exactly, Taylor?
I keep my mouth closed, but like he can like you know, like on the bottom of my face, like my forehead or something. That's all right. That's funny dog kisses. But I've seen those people who are like full on like tongue kissing their dogs, like where the dog's tongue is like going all up in their mouth and doing that.
No.
You know how dogs' tongues
Yeah.
can like go into like peanut butter jars and explore? Like they're doing that to people's mouths.
Glad you brought that up, because if the dog's tongue goes in your mouth, then you're being kind of a weirdo. On the other hand, if you just slather peanut butter on you, it's the dog who's being a weirdo and not me.
Couldn't agree more.
I think
Yeah.
you've got that backwards. He's
Yeah.
hungry. You're disturbed.
No, I'm just sitting there.
Being excited, I assume.
You shouldn't have used chunky.
I mean, it's exciting. I
You're-
love my dog.
Your first mistake.
I love my dog. I get so aroused every time my dog comes in the room.
I mean, he's such a good boy.
He's such a good boy.
Trained him so well.
Just
Dog
a
weighs-
Great Dane.
The dog's
Pink
just
dick
gaining
hanging out.
huge amounts of weight. Hitting multiple jars of peanut butter a day.
Oh yeah, just a Great
was-
Dane dick,
I was on this Reddit thread,
like a
and
red
they said,
Fanta hanging down.
they said, "What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen at a sleepover or done or something like
I
that?"
saw that thread.
Okay.
Okay, so a couple of them were like, I threw up at a sleepover. I did this. I got my first period at a sleepover, stuff like that. And there was one woman who she was like, it was an all-girl sleepover. And one of the girls there was like, I know somebody else who can masturbate by hanging from the corner of a closet. I picture like the door sills, but I'm not sure, the casing that goes around. And she would do like a pull-up and sort of rub her mound on the door. That was how she masturbated.
Probably fit as shit.
That's kind of impressive.
That was
actually.
the point. So she said she knows someone else who does it and demonstrated it. And then the girl was telling the story was like, then I realized just how fucking jacked she was. I tried it. I could barely suspend myself. And she's like just doing pull-ups on this door. Like, look at what my friend does this. And her arms are fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger arms.
She's just got like only has delts. Like that's the only thing.
That's awesome.
Damn. Good for her. That's impressive strength.
Yeah.
I'm kind of imagining a girl now that looks like Derek.
I'm picturing Linda Hamilton in that scene in T2 when they like look into her like room to like see what she's up to. Like,
Yeah.
this is Sarah Connor, and she's in there like cranking out those like
Little did you know that's a
real
sex scene.
those real deal man pull-ups where she's fucking getting up above the bar, putting her chest on the goddamn thing, and she's cranking them out on a medical bed. She's upended. So hardcore. She's jack as fuck in that movie.
She is very, very fit in that movie. She's a very believable athletic female protagonist because you get people all the time like,
There's a scene where
this
she fucks up a guy.
superhero, doesn't look like she's tough, and it's like, okay, fair. That superhero clearly wasn't on a weightlifting regimen before she joined the Marvel team, but like, yeah,
There's a
in
scene
Alien, she looks great.
Kyle, what is this topic you linked here?
Oh, I just someone else linked this to me. It's from Our Idiots with Guns. One of my favorites.
Oh, I like the one above it.
Oh, that's Taylor then.
Oh, my mistake. Sorry.
Oh, we can do mine.
We can do either one. I thought they
You've
were both
made your
yours.
decision.
Yeah, so this is it's called Incel plastic surgery,
Yes.
and it's guys breaking bones in their face so they can look like a Chad, and a Chad is a cool guy who slays, and that's what you want to be, which means you got to add a couple inches of bone to your jaw and apparently your brow and all these other things. And like the stories on this are so negative where it's more like, haha, look at these fucking losers trying to get ladies here. And meanwhile, it's like, here's 10 women who had fucking saline pumped into their tits and why it's brave. It's like what? It's okay. So
I think this guy looks good.
Procedures.
Am I crazy? I'm not liking what seems to be some sort of above eye tattoo. I don't know.
No, that's just a silly graphic, like to exaggerate the bones that they would increase in order to.
Yeah, that's not a human
Chad
picture.
structure. That's just
a-
an artist rendering. But
Well, these guys
Yeah,
all look good. And are they post surgery? The three. Let me see.
Oh.
What am I looking at here?
hold on, let me scroll down more in the article. Oh, I don't see any photos in this article.
Oh, I see them. These are naturally occurring Chads.
Naturally occurring Chads. Damn it.
Yeah, we want.
Oh, if you go all the way down, you can see
Chads.
before and afters.
Now
On
we're
the Incel
talking.
forum Lookism, users regularly Photoshop each other's faces to show what they would look like if transformed into Chads.
Okay. To my eye, neither of these guys need transforming.
I don't know, that one on the bottom looks like he would break into your home, hide in the closet, and while you were getting dressed for the shower, he would come out full rod, but he's got like some sort of a mask on covered in like poppers, and he's like actively doing them as he stabs you.
I mean, I don't dislike the guy anymore. That's pretty neat.
I expected them to be more, fedora wearing my lady type dudes than this. The one on the bottom in particular, I feel like is a bigger improvement than the one on the top. But neither of them strike me as can't
They
find
never
anyone
are.
to love them back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Guys, like,
it
have you
often
heard of
isn't
the-
physical.
Have you heard of the black pill?
No.
Is that what is that?
So taking the, I think, so incels can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think taking the black pill, that's when you realize that. So have you heard of like pickup artists and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
So like these are people that have like taken the red pill and they're like, oh well, women are all whores and such, and they're trying to blah blah blah. So you need to play them this way, right? So you go through your pickup artist shit, blah blah blah. But however, when you come to the real truth and you realize, wait a second, you swallow the black pill and you're like, the people that are going to get fucked were always going to be fucked. You're born a Chad, and nothing you do can ever move you to Chadness. And you are forever part of the 80% of guys that will never fuck girls. That's the black.
80%.
80% of guys don't fuck girls.
Yeah, well, that's
how
the meme, right? It's supposed to be 20% of guys fuck 80% of the girls or whatever, right? That's always like the tribal shit that they give.
Where are
And
these
yeah,
guys
that's,
getting their math?
I don't know.
I don't
From
know.
fucking Tinder or data. or
Is it
whatever.
Dude, it
called,
adds up
is
to
it- is it
100,
called-
Taylor. Can't you? I mean,
Is it like a Reddit / black pill? Is that a
I think it's just the
community?
incel community, but that's like general terminology. When you've taken the
Yeah.
black pill, it's when you've realized that the world is the way it is, and no amount of combing your hair or doing the right fashion or working out is ever going to change it.